We're going to go straight into our next matchup coming up here. Aree versus Xixo. Now, Xixo is a player who at this point definitely needs no introduction. He put his quote is, we see, I didn't explain this to you, Nimch. Obviously, you're new to the HearthStats family here. The box at the bottom is we asked the players to provide a quote that maybe was a favorite quote or a quote that defined them or something they wanted to say to the people. And Xixo, coming into this tournament from the Challengers League, was Mr. 6-0. He 6-0'd in the first group stage, he 6-0'd in the second group stage, and then he 3-0'd Alchemist in the round of 8 to get through. He didn't drop a single game in the Challengers League. Yesterday, he went up against his Archon team captain Amaz and came off worst, dropped his first match in the competition, but was still able to beat RDU in the group decider and make it through to this point. Aree is a player who you've maybe not heard of before, but he's certainly a player who's been around for quite a long time. He's taken part in ESL tournaments, online cups, gets a lot of high-ranking legends, and actually, I mean, if there's one fact I can tell you to take RE seriously, is that in the round of 8 of the Challengers League, he 3-0'd Kalento. Not many people do that.
Oh yeah, certainly. That's definitely an achievement, and it only proves that he is a player that's been around and been playing Hearthstone, and being here in a tournament playing against Xixo. If he wins, he's the guy who actually won versus one of the biggest ladder juggernauts. So this is a very important moment for Aree, but he already proven himself. So I'm certainly excited to see what decks did he bring to the tournament and to face against Xixo. But winning against Kolento gives him an advantage here because there is nothing he fears now. Like, I won against Kolento, I can face Xixo. Like, the guys are similar with regards to how they go through ladder, and I think like he gets an advantage there. Also, there's a lot of information on Xixo on the net because Xixo plays in so many tournaments. You just go through his decks. Like, he streams a lot as well, so you just research the guy and try to counter him. But on the other hand, as you said, like Xixo being a 6-0 guy, I have to add as well that Xixo, when he was playing in France for the Gamers Origin 2, it was I think 400 people LAN event. He went 6-0 as well.
Well, the 6-0 the week that we played the Challengers League back in January, I think he was also playing in the German Championships or some kind of German Hearthstone tournament. And I think he went like 12-0 in that tournament. So his record was something crazy, like 25-0 in tournament games that week. We just talked about Gara getting into the prize money, that being important for pro players. In each of our next 3 quarterfinals, we're gonna see a pro player up against a player who really has nothing to lose. A player who's come through the Grinders League, has fought off, in 288 other people, then the round of 40, then the round of 24, then the round of 8, then the groups, beating some of the best players in the world. I mean, Aree was in Firebat's group, so that shows you what kind of competition he's had to deal with. And there's really nothing to lose for them at this point. Even to have gotten this far is something no one will have expected them to do.
Yeah, but on the other hand, I'm sure he really wants to win. And, it's like for all the players who play in those tournaments, they want to win and get not only the prize money, but they want the fame and the respect they deserve because they do play a lot of Hearthstone. Like, everybody's here in those tournaments, they do practice a lot. And you want to show to everybody, hey, I am good in Hearthstone and I am winning against those pro players that are everywhere. And even like a Xixo, you can't lose because you have your reputation and you want to win everything you play in. Also, Xixo is hungry for tournament wins. As we can see it, like, he is first in ladder, but then in tournaments he didn't get that many tournament wins. He's a Hearthstone Invitational, but then he is getting second places many times.
So this would be the first big career win for Xixo if he was able to pull it off. But like you said, the other side of the coin for these open qualifiers as well, at this point, I'm only 3 matches away from $3,000, and I've played so many matches to get to this point. I don't want to go out now. But we're going to bring you videos for these guys to get you a little bit more informed on these guys, particularly on Aree. And I think we're going to start with him. Yeah, we're going to start with the Aree video and let you know a little bit more about this guy you might not have heard of before.
Hi, I'm Alex. I'm 20 years old and I'm studying computer engineering at UTD. My My in-game name in Hearthstone is ARee. I got into Hearthstone mainly from first watching Crip play. I never played Magic or anything, and watching Crip play is like this game just seems like so much easier.
Cool. All right, so you're actually a really well-known player among the North American pros. So what are you kind of known for? What kind of playstyle or decks are you most known for?
I think I'm most known for playing Rogue, and I play with, like, my practice partners. I just play with a lot of like really good, still kind of unknown players such as like Raccoon and Axius and even Firebat, and we just play in like Google Call, like 8-man tourneys, and just practice.
So in your group, there's DLCZ, Pause YWAM, and Fireback. Who do you think is the most difficult opponent for you?
Probably Firebat. I mean, he is the reigning world champion. Like, just the way he goes about into each tourney with like picks and bans like in mind. He understands the game so much.
Definitely. So knowing that Firebat's definitely the most difficult opponent, do you have any particular strategies to prepare for him?
Not really. Just to try my best and hopefully I can get out of the group.
All right. Last question. If you were a Hearthstone card, what card would you be?
That's a tough one. I guess I would be Auctioneer because I like to draw cards.
Awesome. That's great. Too bad it's nerfed now, though.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks a lot for your time, ARee, and good luck in the groups.
Okay, so that was ARee. Obviously, we've talked about his achievements in this tournament so far, but good to know a little bit more about him. Now we're going to find out a little bit more about Xixo, obviously a better known player, but we're going to get you this interview and get a little bit of insight into him in just a second when our producer manages to cue that up. Wonders of live production here. But ARee is certainly not a player to be taken lightly. Looking at his record to get into this tournament, he beat in his round of 40 group in the Challengers League. He came out ahead of Impact and Faramir in a 4-person group. So he's beaten a lot of big names to get to this point. He's got nothing to be afraid of against Xixo. Beat Tiddler Celestial as well in the round of 24. So he's certainly going to be looking to add another big name to his hit list here.
We got the live cams.
Okay, so we're going to take you into that Xixo interview now.
Hey, I'm Xixo of Team Archon, and I qualified for HearthStats. I'm playing in Group D.
Awesome. So in the group stages, you basically went undefeated, right? And
Yeah.
How does that feel going to the actual championship league going undefeated?
I think I was the only one not dropping a game in the qualifier, and I don't plan on starting it now.
Wow, that's some very impressive things to say. Well, before I remember you told me that you feel like you never got invited to any events or anything, but I feel like that has definitely changed now, right? You get invited to more events. I'm sure you can always get invited to more, but what are your next big goals in Hearthstone?
In the past, I won like 2 8-man tournaments, so like one 32-man tournament, which had like a really tough bracket, but wasn't advertised well. So my goal for like the next 2 months would be to win one tournament with like a lot of viewers.
Okay, so definitely just get your name out there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So in Group D of HearthStats, there's Amaz, RDU, and Meistings. Who do you think is the most difficult opponent for you?
Actually, don't know about Amaz. I mean, I'm teammates with him, but I haven't seen him play tournaments much lately, so I have no clue what to expect. RDU has not been performing that well the past months, but he qualified for some tournaments as well, so I mean, also be some tough matches. About the last player, I have no clue what he plays, who he is, so can't really make any predictions.
Fair enough. Last question. If you were to be a Hearthstone card, what card would you be?
Salty Dog.
Any particular reason you say that?
I might or might not get a little salty after RNG losses.
Alright, that's great. Thank you for your time, Xixo, and good
Thank
luck
you.
in the tournament.
Okay, so here we are. We've got both those interviews in for you. You know the players. You've heard us talk about them. So it's time for us to get into the class screens, talk about their lineups, and get these bans here. For just while those class screens get up, for those of you who are just joining us, we maybe didn't see the last match, both players are bringing best of 5. So we get 2 bans in rounds. So they ban 1 deck each. They'll see what lineup they have left, what their opponent's left with, and be able to make a second ban decision, allowing for more strategizing, I guess. And we see more interesting lineups. We see things like Shaman and Paladin playing more of a role in these lineups. I guess because of the 2 bans, you don't always have to go, well, I guess I just have to snap ban the most powerful class, whatever that may be. But these players have very similar lineups, both bringing Mage, Hunter, Druid, and Warrior. Aree's opted for Rogue, while Xixo has opted for Warlock.
Oh man, Xixo's Warlock. Well, I want to only add to the format that it's really cool that you can ban 2 strongest classes sometimes. If you don't have the strategy to ban control or maybe ban aggro from the other player, just ban 2 stronger classes. But here, as you said, like the classes are more or less the same. Xixo bringing Warlock, but what kind of Warlock is that? Is this the Xixo Zoo, or is it Darklock, or maybe something else? Like when I'm looking at Xixo and his decks, I think I can expect everything. Like Xixo is a guy who plays so much Hearthstone that he can play any deck, any class, any build.
Well, we saw in his game against Amaz, we saw his Mage yesterday, and Xixo actually brought a free. Obviously, the decks have changed from the group stage to the round of 8, or at least they've been given the opportunity to change the deck lists. But okay, so we see a Druid being banned on both sides. I was just about to say, if we see a Warrior being banned for Xixo, that would probably telegraph he was playing Freeze Mage. But I guess both these players were watching the games just going on and seeing, you know, just how dangerous Druid can be. I was going to say just how Druid can be, which I guess that works too.
Yeah.
But Druid banned out of both the lineups here.
It boggles my mind because in the Warcraft universe, Malfurion is one of the strongest creatures that walks through Azeroth, and apparently in this match, he is the same. The strongest guy, you need to ban him. He is overpowered.
Well, it's a fair argument. I don't think you can ever argue with, no matter what the lineups are. If you see a Druid ban, I don't think you can ever question it because, you know, no one ever really wants to play against Druid.
Yeah. On the other hand, it's not giving enough information to your opponent because you do ban the Druid because Druid is a strong class. Not like, hey, Druid counters my lineup. I better ban it.
That's the same kind of with Hunter. That's a very good first ban in this kind of format where they do get information in between the bans. So let's see what the second ban is going to be here. And it's Mage on both sides. Interesting. So we're left with Hunter and Warrior on both sides versus the Rogue and the Warlock. So I guess it comes down to what order these guys run in their decks, but also which way the Rogue and the Warlock match up.
Oh yeah, certainly. Well, I would not expect Warrior to be much different. Like some people play a bit of a more mid-range Warrior with piloted Shredders and maybe Sneeds, but from those 2 players, I would expect the standard control list because they did in my Hunter. So I would feel, hey, this Warrior is anti-Hunter. That's why I don't have to ban Hunter. I ban those classes that can snowball, that can cheat a bit, being Mage, Mech Mage, and the Druid. And with Hunter, it's interesting which builds that those players are going to bring. With Rogue, I feel like we are going to see a standard Oil Rogue, maybe with 4 cards different. But then Warlock is a
what
mystery.
Could it be? What do you think of our art here on the ban screen here, Nimch? All this custom art for each of the classes. Obviously, I've said all the way through, Garrosh could do with being a little bit more hench, but he needs to get his lifting on, get back to the gym. Clearly doesn't even lift. But we're gonna get into this game now.
HearthStats Champions League Season 1, Round of 8, Xixo versus ARee.
Okay, so Hunter mirror match here, and it looks like fairly mid-range Hunter builds from each. We see the Savannah High main in the hand of Aree and the Sludge Belcher and the Harrison Jones in hand for 6. So give us kind of that information about what kind of decks we're looking at here, and it definitely does look like a mid-range on either side.
Oh yeah, certainly. What we still don't know is that if both players are playing double Freezing Trap, or is anybody else running Snake Trap. From Xixo, I think Xixo was playing Snake Trap. He loved Snake Trap last season, and seeing Sludge Belcher is certainly possible that he plays one. With double Juggler though, those Jugglers will be dead before he gets any, so that might be troublesome there.
I think for me, throwing out the double Jugglers shows that there's maybe not a Snake Trap in this deck, because you definitely want to try and keep those if at all possible. Houndmaster coming into hand for Aree, that's a card that is certainly not a must pick in Hunter at this point, and get a lot of work done with Web Spinners and Haunted Creepers.
Yeah, definitely. Houndmaster is a card you play a one-off, and it is kind of like a card that's popular in the current most popular Hunter build, the mid-range one that Trump was playing as well. And right now it's like a very interesting situation on board with a big 6/6 Misha.
That's pretty scary, and it certainly is a good opponent for the 4/4 Misha, the inferior Misha of Xixo. And he has two choices to clear this. It's either with his face, with the Eagle Horn Bow, or running in his Knife Juggler, and neither of those feel like a good play for Xixo.
Yeah, right now Xixo is in trouble. Like, his mana curve seems funny. He won't be able to play, like, he can only pick one card. So he either goes for Eagle Horn Bow and clears them for free, or tries Animal Companion, which does actually nothing. So it was possibly the only play here. Yeah, I don't see Animal Companion being played to face this board. You want to clear the board and win over time. But right now he's definitely in trouble. He is behind in this match, and Aree is just, he can extend the board. He even got the Grizzly Bird to fill the curve on turn 5. He decides not to play Lothab, which I actually personally like. Against Hunter, in this situation, spells are not that great. And Lothab can just seal the game when you have an advantage. You play Lothab on a board with a lot of minions, and your opponent won't be able to clear that.
Yeah, it can definitely be a real swing play, and when you've got a turn 6 Savannah Highmane, you don't feel that much pressure to play out a big minion and just play Lothab for the body.
By the way, we got 100% Misha from Animal Companion.
That's true. Misha, a big part of this game so far. And we see the Savannah Highmane coming down. Nimsh, what is your opinion on the Amaz law of Hunter? That if the Savannah Highmane attacks face, then you win.
Well, if there is no freezing trap, that's certainly true.
Well, let's see what the traps are actually here. If our producer can show us, that would be nice.
I would guess double freezing trap on both sides.
I would think so. The wonders of the spectator mode is that producers can do things like show us how many cards are left, or show us what secrets they are. If he's paying attention, he might do that. But we now have dueling Savannah Highmanes here.
The situation is really interesting.
It's a snake trap for Xixo.
Oh, that's a snake trap. That is important.
Oh,
because...
double snake trap.
Wow. Okay. That's unexpected.
Aree's probably thinking about playing this freezing trap in his hand then to try and stop the Savannah Highmane.
Well, he has a Lothab, so but then on the other hand, can you really attack into Misha? There is a risk that it's a freezing trap, and you don't want to get Savannah Highmane being returned to your hand.
There's a freezing trap on both sides, but Xixo isn't going to be able to play his deck to the Lothab. He's thinking about a 5-mana Hunter's Mark here. But I guess we'll probably... Yeah, we're going to see Misha proc the freezing trap here.
This matchup suddenly got much more complicated. I didn't expect this much of like a complexity from Hunter versus Hunter, where you have traps on both sides and you have Savannah Highmanes that can't really attack. Let's try to evaluate who has an advantage here. We see that Aree only has 2 cards left, and Xixo has many more. And the boards are more or less similar, and there's Savannah Highmane to face. So if Amaz rule is actually true.
But how does that work in a mirror match? That's the question. Let's see if we get another Misha here.
If he gets a Huffer, Huffer is probably the best to proc the... Oh my god, he actually got a Huffer.
So kill command coming in on the Sludge Belcher. And he's going to be able to proc the Freezing Trap with the Huffer. So that's going to be a nice big threat in Aree's hand. On the spot, it's proccing the Snake Trap.
Now he's in a situation where he has to count for lethal, because you would normally love to see a Freezing Trap, get half returned to your hand, and then just go 11 to face. But now with 3 snakes and Savannah High main, well, basically the problem is they do counter your Freezing Trap.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's going to be pretty bad news. And they actually, they can trade very well with the opposing Snake Trap as well. You can just cancel that out if you're 6-0. The health is also completely balanced at this point as well. This game is really balanced on the knife edge.
I think you have to go for face. Like, there is no reason to trade for snakes. One snake is going to get returned anyway. So, like, your Freezing Trap is toast. And with... you're staring at what? Like, 8 plus 2, 10 points of damage. So you probably have to... Like, what Aree had to do is to count how much damage can Xixo deal with Kill Command and possibly... Unleash the Hounds, or is he dead to Kill Command at least? With Freezing Trap, that's 8 points of damage. With Hero Power, that's 10, and then Kill Command, it's not enough. So he will be dead to Unleash the Hounds and Kill Command, Hero Power. That's why he was thinking so much about attacking face or trying to trade at least one of the snakes. But we can see that Xixo doesn't have those cards, and he is far from lethal, but on the other hand, he will be able to clear the board and set up a Freezing Trap, which will help him to stabilize and then attack with his Simon again and possibly create a lethal position for the next turn.
Does have a Misha as well if he wants to go for that. Got an extra taunt. So we're going to see snakes for days here.
Oh, that's actually a Snake Trap, not a Freezing Trap. That changes a lot.
Yeah, well, he knew it was, and he knew that as well because the Freezing Trap and Snake went up together, and he'd already procced it. So, knowing what trap he was playing against was pretty big information. He's going to go face with a high main as well here, and suddenly, how does the Image rule work? Nobody knows.
Well, Kill Command top deck is lethal for Aree, and Iron Beak is lethal for Aree. Unleash the Hounds is lethal for Aree.
And he gets the second Shredder into hand. Well, that's definitely not what he needed.
That's not lethal.
And now it looks like Xixo's going to be in the driver's seat.
I think Xixo actually misses 1 damage. Xixo is 1 damage off lethal next turn. This is actually pretty amazing in this kind of matchup, like with both players having any, like, it's not that many cards that Xixo can top deck to win as well. Well, Kill Command and Unleash the Hounds, but it's not like he can top deck a Wolf Rider or Arcane Golem. Well played. So right now Aree just...
What? Did we miscount that?
No, that's not...
Sorry. I thought he was going to... the well played threw me off there. I thought you maybe did have lethal.
Fine. It's like...
Xixo's one off lethal here, and he's just going to go ahead and concede. So Aree wins the initial contest here, the Hunter mirror match. And Xixo is going to have to go back to the drawing board a little bit. Does have the Warrior and does have the Warlock available. And I guess, we talked about the Warrior being a standard control build, being pretty good against Hunter. That feels like a pretty solid pick for Xixo.
What a clutch match. It was so important for the Hunter to win. Because right now, Warrior, this kind of Hunter with Snake Traps and Savannah High mains, a lot of endgame, is probably a good matchup versus Warrior. And then Warlock, Snake Trap, if this is a Zoo deck, Snake Trap will be really irritating. And but what kind of other deck Xixo can bring? Would you expect a Handlock?
I'm trying to think if we saw his Warlock. Did he play Warlock early in the week? I'm trying to remember. I will check and see what Xixo... No, he didn't bring Warlock yesterday, so this is the first we've seen of it from him. We have seen some pretty crazy variants on the Demon Lock deck. We've seen... I think it was Posmywam's deck that he brought. There was a kind of a variant on Handlock, but it had taken out the Giants and put in things like Kel'Thuzad, the Jaraxxus, and the Mistress as a pain in there, and kind of made it more just kind of a control-y Warlock deck without the handlock element to it.
Well, we've seen Silent Storm, Demon Lock recently, so maybe Xixo got inspired by that as well.
Of course, we didn't get to see Dark Onyx's Warlock deck, but he played it off stream, and he brought a variant of his Dark Warlock, which had Twisting Nether in it. But okay, so we're getting ready to go into this game in just a couple seconds here.
Let the hunt begin. HearthStats Champions League Season 1, Round of 8, ARee versus Xixo.
All right,
okay, so this looks like a zoo from Xixo.
Yeah, and it's well, is it? Well, it probably is. But then again, if I think Warlock and Xixo, the first card that comes to my mind is Implosion. You know.
That card, he is basically to blame for that card being prevalent in Warlock. But there's an antique heal bot. That's interesting.
So is it the zoo, actually? What cards did he mulligan away? Defender of Argus?
Yeah, he mulligan Defender. And so there's a Doomguard. So this may just be like a... And Sylvanas, okay. So this could be just kind of a tweaked zoo deck with maybe some late game and some mid game and some healing and things to maybe counter things like Face Hunter. But
and that's actually amazing because it only proves that in Hearthstone there is still room for being creative and bringing your own decks, your own brews, and trying to find the new decks. Like, you know, a lot of players they fall into the standard, well, I have to net deck, or this is the best Hunter build, this is the best Warlock build. But some of the guys are deck builders, and they actually bring something new and surprising to the tournaments.
You know, we do see some guys like Silent Storm, who we haven't heard of before, bringing their own decks, but that's one of the things I think that does set pro players apart a lot of the time, is being confident enough to make what seem like maybe unpopular meta decisions be really, really important for tournaments.
Oh yeah, certainly. And here, like, what is the matchup actually? Originally, Zoo is, I feel, good versus Hunter, especially this kind of Hunter without explosive traps, without... Well, there is Unleash right now, but...
Shadow Flame, hello. That's a card.
Okay, that's a good clear with power. I mean, like, overall, it's a cool combo. It's like a lot of cool combos. And Shadow Flame with Sylvanas as well, Dr. Boom. So this deck apparently has some early game and curves really well into late game as well.
It feels kind of like maybe the Warlock equivalent of the Hunter deck that we're seeing from ARee. It's a pretty aggressive deck. It has a lot of small aggressive minions, but does scale quite well into the late game as well. Kind of like the Naaman Hunter build with the Ragnaros at the top and that sort of thing.
He can already power overall me Shadow Flame, but I don't think that's the play. Whenever I see a piloted Shredder, I feel like Dark Bomb is the card I play. But then again, maybe there is something else he can do. Power Overwhelming can trade easily and give him a 4/4 after that, and then you have 4 mana. But there's not really much you can do. Maybe use Dark Bomb and Power. First Dark Bomb, see what you get from Piloted Shredder.
He's gonna go for the shadow. He's gonna trade actually with the Nervian Egg.
He has to Shadow Flame because there's a Snake Trap.
Okay, yeah. So he's gonna Shadow Flame now. He might have been thinking about just going with the Dark Bomb play, but goes with the Shadow Flame. And Mad Scientist. A third Mad Scientist for ARee. That's a pretty good pickup from the Shredder.
It's not the worst. It's getting a 4 attack minion would be probably better, but Mad Scientist is definitely a card that's good. Playing high main on 5 certainly feels good.
I have no time for games.
Let's see a Sylvanas here. Sylvanas Shadow Flame would have maybe been something that Xixo was thinking about for the late game, but that Sylvanas is a good threat on the board. And we do see a lot of these big bodies with the Dr. Boom, the Lotheb, the Doomguard. Xixo's going to start being able to build up some big damage on board. This feels like one of those matches where they're both kind of slugging each other's face quite a lot with big minions. We see a second high main for ARee. He could just, drop the second high main and go face.
The problem that Xixo is facing right now is that if there is a freezing trap, Sylvanas might be countered. But then ARee has to think, like, if there is a way for Sylvanas to die and steal my high main. Because normally, after seeing Power Overwhelming and Shadow Flame, you are the Warlock just killing Sylvanas. But without those cards, you could go for Med Scientist into Sylvanas, get the Freezing Trap, and then attack. But he more or less did the same. He set up the Freezing Trap, because I believe it's a Freezing Trap right now. You mostly play one Snake, two Freezing. So Sylvanas is being countered.
It's so hard to make these decisions with a deck that you've never seen before. To get a build that you don't know how it works. But Implosion coming to hand, there's a lot of damage here for Xixo in a couple of turns. But I guess he wants to trigger the Freezing Trap somehow. But Sylvanas getting Freezing Trapped, he's got to be aware of what kind of damage is coming in. I mean, there's 9, 12, 14 damage.
Well, Xixo can steal the high main if he is lucky. If he can't discard the Dark Bomb. Yeah, I was like looking at the things right now. So he can attack with Sylvanas into Jungle, which is... So he correctly read that it's a Freezing Trap, and then he was able to not discard the Dark Bomb and steal the high main. A very strong play by Xixo.
How's that for lethal? 5, 10, not quite enough for ARee here.
ARee will probably have to use Iron Beak and Kill Command to clear the high main. Unless he actually...
Oh, he's just going to go aggressive here.
No respect. Is this lethal for Xixo? No, not really. But then the heal bot.
Yeah, the heal bot's got to come down here.
Yeah, it's changing this matchup so much. ARee, I feel, is making a correct decision. Instead of going for full like board trading and trying to clear, just looking at the hand sizes, you want to go for face, especially if you have Unleash the Hounds against the Zoo and Kill Command and a bow. So the decision is correct, but it works. This decision works for Xixo because he has the cards to counter it.
This is such a back and forth game already in this series. This really interesting Warlock deck from Xixo. Yeah, the heal bot's got to come down. He's staring down very, very, pretty much easy lethal. But we're going to see go straight to face. No life tap from Xixo with that extra 2 mana. I don't know if he's actually life tapped in this whole game.
Well, that's again a good decision there. So how much damage is there from ARee? There is 11 on board, so he only needed 10. He has 8.
It's not quite enough.
I wonder.
Do you go for the silence kill command play here, do you think? And then just hero power, hit face with your high main, and just try and work Xixo back down again?
Yeah, I think you have to do something like that. Like, maybe not kill command, maybe silence, Hunter's Mark, and then Unleash the Hounds. And trade as much as possible. You know that the Doomguard is in the hand, and it costs 7 mana. So next turn you can expect the Doomguard, but Doomguard is not lethal for you. Even with Power Overwhelming, it's still 9, and a Doomguard will discard 2 cards. So if you clear the board here, you're probably positioning yourself pretty well. But you do have to clear, I believe.
Well, we're going to see the Hunter's Mark come down, like you said. Good use of the Hunter's Mark instead of the Kill Command. Obviously, Kill Command is such a vital piece of the Hunter deck, getting lethal. And he's going to go ahead and clear... Oh, he's going to use the High Main to clear the 3-3 out.
Yeah, you can't attack with weapon. It's too dangerous because of the Doomguard to just clear. It's better to just use the High Main, especially because you've seen 1 AoE already.
Mistress of Pain.
Mistress is a bit too late for Xixo.
Yeah.
There is not really a good way to clear this. Before he had a way to deal with the High Main, just buffing it with Abusive Surgeon and then killing it with BGH. But right now he doesn't have a combo like that. He is staring at what, like 10 points of damage? What he will do is just extend the board and try to cancel the kill command with Lothab.
It's one-off lethal for ARee there. With the kill command plus the on board is 14 damage. It's pretty close. But he's going to go ahead and trade and look for some favorable juggles here. Is he going to kill the baby mage? He is! Oh my god! So crucial.
That's pretty good for ARee. Well, he did have the dog, so he actually needed only one knife there. Xixo needs... Well, Mistress of Pain is not the card he needed.
That might be all she wrote for Xixo.
I guess you tap. There's like nothing you can do with this hand.
I can ease your pain.
Yeah, he's just gonna. Well, he's not even gonna tap. He's gonna go full game without tapping. He's gonna Doom Guard on the Knife Juggler, but that's gonna be it. So game number 2, going over to ARee. 2 games in a row with his Hunter deck.
Still, this game was really interesting, and Xixo bringing a new Warlock deck, and I liked it. I really enjoyed this game, and even though that was something surprising from Xixo, ARee played it exceptionally well. Making good calls and trading when he needed, going for face when he could, positioning himself to win the game. Even though Xixo fought and used those specific cards like Healbot and Lothab, Sylvanas to his advantage, and stealing the high main even from ARee, ARee was still able to win and make correct calls.
Well, Xixo's going to have to make that decision that we thought he would make in that game and going with the Warrior, because that is all he has left as we see the Warlock say goodbye from the lineup. It's a lonely existence for Garrosh here on the right-hand side of the class screen. And the Hunter, Warrior, and Rogue of ARee. I guess if Xixo is able to beat the Hunter here, it's probably going to come down to how well this Rogue matches up with the Warrior. What do you make of the percentages in that matchup? Well, we're going to go into this game and we'll talk about that in just a second.
HearthStats Champions League Season 1, Round of 8, ARee versus Xixo.
And we're back with Warrior versus Rogue. We can probably discuss it when they actually face. If Xixo is able to win this match, and right now he's still facing the Hunter, the mid-range Hunter, which is actually a good matchup for Hunter, I believe. If you get the high mains, if you get Animal Companions, if you get Dr. Boom, you position yourself really well versus Warrior. Warrior does have to get the removal. And Xixo is playing Piloted Shredder in his Warrior.
Yeah, some interesting cards. We also saw the Gorhel in the mulligan as well. He would have been definitely looking for things like Fiery War Axe and Armorsmith. The Armorsmith is just so crucial in this matchup to get the armor as quickly as possible and try and take yourself out of range. Silverback Patriarch off the Web Spinner. I'm sure that we'll see that play a big part. That'll be a pretty good target for Houndmaster, I guess. But apart from that, maybe not.
Do you think that ARee is going to win 3-0 on the back of the Silverback Patriarch?
On back of the Patriarch? See, I've been practicing my dad jokes all week, knowing I was going to be casting with you, Nimsh, and I'm at the top of my dad joke game right now. So you tee me up for things like that, I'm going to knock him out of the park.
Sure. I'm just waiting for dad jokes then.
Well, I mean, you are the dad joke master. So, the Frothing Berserker. So this looks maybe a bit like Zalae's Warrior build that we saw from the ESL Legendary series.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I like the fact that Xixo is playing different cards and a different deck. Like, you don't play something that people expect, and that's key. Right now, he gets... Huffer was actually pretty lucky for Xixo because he was able to trade with it easily, even though it dealt damage. AREe's deck is not poised to deal that much damage. It's more about building up a board. Leok is not bad. He can kill the Frothing Berserker here.
Yeah, he is going to get that Frothing Berserker out of the way, that feels pretty good. And Fiery War Axe coming to hand, like we said, a little bit late for Xixo.
Oh man, that has to be really painful when you just play Pilot to Shredder to get killed by one drop. And AREE got a silence as well. He decides not to do it.
And there's another cool Taskmaster. Not as effective as the previous one, sadly.
So AREE keeping a silence, probably expecting a Belcher being dropped. He is very aggressive in this match. He is mostly out of cards as well. So silencing Belcher will be very important. Or maybe even silencing something like Acolyte of Pain. Or Sylvanas.
Yeah, that could be definitely very important. The Clockwork Gnome for AREE as well in the Hunter deck. That's not a common choice, but it does mean he has this cloak, which is could be really important for preserving his damage and evading some of the removal that Xixo has. But this matchup is really not going well for Xixo.
Yeah, I can already picture Xixo losing here. Without the Brawl and with Sylvanas Silence, it will be very hard to come back from this. He even steals the Leok to protect it from a possible execute. Wow.
Sludge Belcher. That's a pretty big pickup right now. That's pretty so alive here. But it's going to be a turn 7 Doctor Boom.
With Eagle Hornbow, probably not yet. Yeah, you just probably kill the Belcher, see what you get from Web Spinner, and then develop Boom.
And get a secret as well from the Mad Scientist. Freezing Trap would be absolutely huge.
Snake Trap is also good. Like, whatever you get, actually, you're
Stone Tusk Boar.
Wait, is that lethal?
I don't...
It shouldn't be lethal yet. But it's definitely really close.
Actually, well, yeah, no, it wasn't. It would be lethal if he didn't have to clear the slime. He had exactly 11 damage, but the 1/2 slime was in the way.
Well, that's it. I don't see
Yeah.
Xixo coming back from this. He actually attacks Dr. Boom. Dr. GG is going to deal the last damage to Xixo. Xixo going 6-0 for all the series. Actually loses 0-3 to Hunter from ARee.
ARee takes another victim with a clean sweep after beating Colento in the Challengers League with a 3-0. He didn't lose a game in his group. In his group, in Group C, in the group with Firebat, Dale, and Pause My Wham, and now he's taken out Xixo. A very impressive performance from ARee. Like we said, all the players have fought really hard to get here. This isn't an invitational tournament. Everyone has earned their place to this point. AREe's fought through so many rounds, and now he's going home with some prize money.
Oh yeah. Well, you can say that sometimes people are getting carried by their decks, and ARee did play Hunter, but then again, he really made good choices. Like, against this warrior, he made the choice to keep the owl, not to like use it to silence the shredder, where normally you'd think, hey, I need to silence this because the defraggle might be damaging. He made very good choice and risked that there is no brawl in Xixo's hand, especially after seeing cards like Throttling Berserker. So exceptional play from ARee in all 3 games, playing against a guy like Xixo. So only proving himself even more after defeating Xixo and Colento. ARee might be the favorite to win the tournament now.
Absolutely, and he's going to meet Gara in our first semi-final tomorrow. But we're going to take a very short break now before we come back with our third quarterfinal, and that's going to be another of our open qualifiers. I'm very excited to see Phone Tap, and he's going to be going up against one of the stalwarts of the pro scene, Alchemixed. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the HearthStats Champions League. We'll be back in about 5-10 minutes.